have started. Where Marisa is up? I've done 30 burpees.
I'll be fitter than you, by the way.
I'm the fittest. Fit in the Lord. In a dress. And I've defeated Edu. Please, let the records show. Edu did 12 burpees. Welcome, guys, to yet another Sunday service. My name is Samantha, and we're back on the road. So the reason why we are out on the road again is because the responses we got from last month's Sermon series is so overwhelming. You guys enjoyed the Sermon series. We're getting so much feedback from it that we were like, you know what, let's continue, let's talk about it, let's have more conversations around it. And today we're in South B. I'm still panting, sorry. We're in South B, we're at Songambele, and we've come to visit Vanessa. Based on how last month went, Vanessa's story is really touching. So she lost someone very close to her last year. She lost her grandmother, and so many people have experienced death this year, you know, because of COVID. For one reason or another, people were sick. There's accidents that have happened, you know. But for her, her grandmother and her were really close, and this is something that has greatly affected her. So we want to find out how coping with loss has been for her, and because of the Sermon series, finding forward, and you know how we've talked about making moves, highs and lows, how that has been for her. So you guys enjoy the service. This is it. We're back on the road. We're collective in the hood once again. As we start our service, I'm just going to invite Pastor Edu to come and pray for us. He's from an intense workout session. Let him work out our salvation in prayer.
Yeah.
Edu?
Hey, hi guys. Hey, baby. Hey. I was asked my age and I said I'm 30. Hey. Just to make myself look a bit old, and also to do 30 burpees because I'm 30. Hey, guys, never lie about your age, and please work out. Even if it's 10 press-ups a day, please work out. Hey, it's no joke. But yeah, we are here today, and it's an amazing day. It's sunny, it's bright, it's a beautiful day, and my hope and prayer is that as we start this day, we will be blessed, we will enjoy our time together. So allow me to pray for us as we start. So Father God, I want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you for having enabled us to be here. And God, as you spend time with our people, as you visit, as we hear them, as you share with them, as you pour wisdom and just godly counsel to them, oh God, I do pray that you'll go ahead of us and that you'll be with us in every single thing we do. Therefore, guide us and walk with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
We're here with Vanessa, and Vanessa, umetutenda, tuseme tu hivyo.
Nimewatenda.
How can we just arrive and you're like, burpees? Please, how?
Yeah.
For who, for why? I mean, but it's fine.
Inabidi. We were learning resilience. So, like, what better workout to teach resilience than a burpee? 10 burpees that, you know, your age.
Hi.
And then Edu can decide he's 30. Edu had 30 burpees.
But
I don't know why you lied.
it was worth the stretch. It was worth the stretch.
Yeah.
But do uko na sweat kwanza?
Because I'm healthy. I sweat because I'm healthy. Not because that I'm unfit. I'm the expert. I take lots of water by day, so it's inatoka too. Yeah. I'm healthy.
Keep up the good.
Fresh and healthy. Yeah.
Fresh,
Yeah.
rich in melanin, fresh, healthy.
That one.
Wazi. Anyway, so we'd like you to introduce yourself, because I'm talking now to help Joy.
Yeah.
Who you are, what you do, you're in school, working, you know.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Vanessa Nzioka. I am not in school, despite the look.
Well,
no, I'm not in school. Like, but many people actually think Nico forms U3.
Oh,
Imagine.
Kuvalia tu uniform na box pale kati basi.
For real. Na nitaingia vizuri sana, you know. But I'm a Bachelor of Commerce graduate. My option was finance option, but I am doing nothing to do with that, you know. So currently, I'm the programs coordinator at Star Kids Initiative.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm also a certified fitness trainer and nutritionist.
Hey.
that's why we are doing burpees.
Show them those guns.
Yeah, like fitness is one of my biggest passions. Working with kids is another one of my biggest passions. So I'm really blessed to be doing the things that I love on a daily basis. Like Star Kids is my daily. Thursdays we come here and we just do crazy things and we do fun things. Like it's Buffy's umeona, like that's just the tip on the iceberg.
I'm not coming
yeah.
next time.
But then, even before you guys came, we were acting. We were doing a skit.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, so we do a lot of things. Yeah, so that's me.
Today we came to hear you and also share with you with regards to something that happened in June last year, right? Yeah. Mind sharing with us what it is?
Okay, so in June of last year, it was I'd say one of the hardest points in my life, but it's not one, it was the hardest point of my life, like in my 20-something years of life, because I lost my grandma, the woman, and when you hear grandma you think, oh shush. Like for me it was, she was the person who raised me, she was the person who took me through school, she was the person who gave me a home, and she was my friend, like yeah. So I lost her, and she was sick, but she was also a bit old, because my grandma was actually she was born in 1923. So by the time I was born, she was 72. Wow. She had just turned like 72. And 72, like, because tunaambiangwa the years, that you're given at like 70, and then everything else is a bonus. So she had already reached her 70 and plus 2, and then I was born and she was here for another 23 years. And for those 23 years, she raised me. I'd say she raised me. She took me through school. She was always the one who made sure that I was okay. Because my mom was working or she was traveling, or she just had a few things going on that needed my grandma to take care of me. So that was a very tough point in my life, because when I was born, I found her. Like I had never experienced like a life without her, and that was a very tough point in my life. And I remember, because because she had started getting a bit sick, and it started making me think, wow, baby, what am I going to do when she's gone? And it's not a thought I like to think about, but once in a while I'd think about it, and I didn't know, like all I could do was pray and ask God to give me strength, because losing someone who is very, very close to you, like you hear people say it's tough until you experience it and you're like, wow, it's actually tough. And yeah, so it was really hard for me. It was hard on our whole family, because she was there, the figure pale, because my granddad had also passed away a few years back. So my grandma she was the pillar of our family. So losing her was hard, but I thank God, because he actually, like when I used to think about it before she died, like I used to feel like baby sita make, like akienda I'm going with her. Like that's how I used to feel like, why I can't do it. But imagine when she died, like God gave me so much grace, because I remember the very last day, she was on that bed at HDU at Coptic, and I remember she had tubes going in like many places, and I was looking at her and I'm like, wow, this is not my grandma, because like I'm so used to seeing her like healthy and fine. But I remember, so she couldn't talk because she had a tube in her mouth. So I remember she just kept on doing this with her hand. So I held her hand, and can you imagine, the only thing that she could say, the last thing she said to me was pray. That was the last thing she said. And I feel like it took so much, because she had been trying to talk and she couldn't, and then when she actually summoned her strength, she said pray. And yeah, like I knew, but then I knew that was it. And I remember I was with my cousin and I started shaking and crying because I knew, like I actually knew that was it. I wasn't going to see her again. But I remember when I was with my cousin there and we were crying and we were shaking, I just prayed and I told God, please give us strength to get through this because it wasn't easy. But she passed on the same day at night. Yeah, that was another hard thing. We were called from home. You know, we knew when the doctor called that he come, we knew. So we went, and it was, for me, it was so surreal. Like, as in, we were just going through that process of clearing her and all that, and I'm just like, what? This is tough. But even after the funeral, like, it was really tough. You know, I had never experienced someone so close to me pass. So it was hard, and the fact that every single person in this world has to go through a loss, because we are all going to die. We are all going to experience loss at one point in our lives. So to think that people are going to go through that, it really, you realize no other human being can give you comfort, because even them, we don't know when someone close to us is going to die. We don't know when we are going to die. Like, the only person who knows this is God. And when I realized that he was the person I would pray to whenever, even now I still feel down on some days, and I still feel like it's just hard for me to talk about her without getting emotional, but I understand that God is the one who blessed her, who blessed me with her, and he's the one who took her. So he's the only one who can give me comfort whenever I'm feeling down. So even anyone, if you've gone through loss, if you're going through grief, if you're going through a tough time, the only person who can get you through it is actually, it's literally God. So yeah.
That's, I think, well, that's quite a lot. Thanks, Vanessa, for sharing that story. It was a deep, heartfelt story. I think for me, it's hard even to put words around the loss of somebody, as Vanessa shared, that was there with her from when she was born all through her life. And when she said it was a surreal moment, it hit that, you know, sometimes you lose people who are very close to you, and it's so hard to believe that they are gone. And there are no even words to explain or to tell somebody that can take back, you know, the love or what you share with that person. But all you can say to you and your family is sincere condolences and sorry for that. Yeah, and I'll also like, maybe if you can help us, because I like what you said. You say that all through you prayed. And maybe to somebody at home, they're facing a loss, or they have faced a loss, and maybe they've been through seasons of trying to go over this loss, seasons of trying to understand this loss. And I like also what you said, because you said no one ever goes through life without a loss. And there's a season where either somebody is in your family, in your extended family, a friend, somebody you know, the loss is there, and loss is inevitable. So I'd like you to encourage somebody with, you know, the words or the experiences you went through, and like, because you said you prayed out of it. So maybe you can encourage somebody at home in that.
So the one thing that I understand and that I know is there's usually the urge to get angry at God and to ask, because for me it was my grandma and she was old, and for some people it would be like, you know, alikuwa ameshafika time yake labda, but then there are people who lose newborn babies, young babies, and you feel like, God, really? Like this, like, and maybe even serve God, you pray faithfully, and God takes someone that you truly loved, and you truly feel like, huyu hakuwa amemaliza time yake, and you feel like you're angry at God, and you're like, whether we have this, and you stop praying, and you stop, you know, you're just like in relationship yaitu imeisha. But I'd like to encourage you today and tell you that God does not see as we do. God sees the bigger picture. God taking my grandma away from me knew that, imagine you guys are going to be okay. Imagine Vanessa, you're going to be fine. Yes, you are dependent on her and everything, but right now I have the way forward. Like, I have it all figured out. So what I'd like to encourage you at home is God has it all figured out. If you're going through grief, if you've lost someone, God has a reason. God knows. God knows. He knows what you're going through. He knows that you're grieving. But what I'd encourage you to do is allow him to be the one to embrace you, allow him to be the one to give you comfort. Because the kind of comfort, whenever I pray, whenever I was missing my grandma and I would pray, I would feel a sort of embrace. And like you feel like sijui nika nywele zako sijui zina, you just feel like someone is hugging you that you can't see. And that's just because I'd tell God, I need you and I need your comfort. So today just tell God that you need him, that you need his comfort, and just settle into his presence, and I promise you it will get better.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. I'm moved because even for us, we lost someone very dear this year. And I like how you're saying, there's times you feel like you want to be angry at God. You want to just throw your hands in the air and say, you know what, that's it, we're done. But then the way you brought in the aspect of prayer, I don't think there's anything in this life that can satisfy the way prayer does. And I'm really encouraged by that, because even for me, honestly, after we lost my uncle, I was like, how? There's some things you can't explain in this life, and death is one of them, and you're like, achatu, But just hearing how you've been able to come above that, come above the emotions of being angry, of being upset, wanting to just sit in that mess, and choosing to move forward in God, that has really encouraged me. And I hope you guys at home are also encouraged, because some of these things happen, but in life, I feel like God is the constant in life, and once we start holding on to that truth, that's all we need. Yeah.
And I hope that the sharing that Vanessa shared with us got to impact or got to make you think much more about God and about life generally. And as we come to an end, I want to ask Vanessa, out of all the things you have shared, what's the one thing that stands out for you as you're going also from that season onwards?
I think it's that through prayer, I am able to find strength, and it's strength that no one else can give me. Through prayer, I am able to find strength in God.
I like that she said that this season she has found strength through prayer. And I also want to pray a blessing over her, but not only her, but even you who's catching us at home. I'm reminded of a scripture in 1 Thessalonians 5 that talks about and says that we should pray continually in all circumstances. And I like that she prayed in her sad circumstances. I don't know about you, but maybe you're going through a similar situation like her, and I urge you to pray continually, And if you can, the Bible also urges us to ask other people to pray for you. Did you have people who stood by you in prayer that time?
Yes, I did. I had, especially Pastor Frank actually, who has really been there like through it, just helping me pray whenever we talk, and even my family, my friends, because they knew, like the people who are close to me, they knew it was a tough period. So I did have people praying for me, even as I was praying for myself, because it's not always easy. Like sometimes you can't find the words, but your friends and your family, the people you trust, you can always trust them to pray for you, and even can ask the Holy Spirit to pray for you.
That's very profound. So if you can't pray for yourself, get people to pray for you. Your pastors are here, your friends around you, people who you trust, and people who you can say are worth sharing it, so that they can pray for you. And I urge us that we will find strength as we continually pray, as we continually receive prayers from other people. And I pray not only for Vanessa but even you at home that even prayer will be something that you echo continuously and all through your life. Do not dismiss prayer. Do not dismiss prayer. Prayer is a powerful weapon, whether it's you praying for yourself or you praying for another person or another person praying for you. Pray in all circumstances, and God will truly give you the strength in any season you may be in to move ahead and to do what He has given you the ability to do in that season. Therefore, be blessed, collective. And Vanessa, also be blessed, and thank you for having us today.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Can you imagine, guys? People have come to do exercise in Songambele. See your pastor up there.
Love, woohoo! Na, 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 na.
First, I hope I'm not too close to the screen. We've finished at Songambele. Now people are having fun on the swings and whatnot. We want to head to our second location, so see you guys there. Battery low. Q, what will you say? Huawei. Okay, guys. See you at the next location. How do I switch off? We're here at Nyash's house. Should we do the brief from upstairs? Are you making funny faces?
Hi guys, so we are here at our second place, at Kinyanjui's place. Kinyanjui is an amazing guy. Samantha, tell us more about Kinyanjui.
So, hey! You're feeling nice. You're feeling nice.
No, by the way, so Kinyash is this amazing
Kinyash
guy.
is this amazing guy, and we want to hear more about his story. Let's be serious. This is a serious time. So, Kinyash's story is ama nisiseme, so that you guys stay tuned. Yeah, let's go up and visit Kinyash.
Keep it locked.
Hi.
We are here for round 2.
Stop.
Hey, wewe ndio ungefungua tu kiwa hivyo. Rastaman never give up.
Are we eating this?
No.
You guys should
We are going back with the items.
Hello, Kinyanjui.
What Kinyanjui is it? I mean, it's a Kinyanjui.
Oh, sorry. There is a name. Maybe Miss Jafika Apo.
Oh! Okay,
Nyash.
Kinyanjui is
Nyash
okay.
kama
It's,
Nyash.
I actually use Kinyanjui a lot.
You want to be
Some Kinyanjui,
For the video.
Njui is okay. Njui, yeah.
Oh, Jui. See Nyash.
Nyash.
Nyash was a alter ego.
You know what Njui means? Like, you know.
Yeah, small chicken.
Yes.
It's a small chicken.
Yeah, small chicken.
I'm very small.
I think not. Anyway, so, and he's made for us some goodies. Some very delicious, nutritional. Achatu.
Do you mind sharing the recipes with guys at home?
No.
Ama it's top secret.
It's top secret.
Recipe not
It's for people.
Let's mix everything that's missing. That's about to get spoiled.
Guys.
Hey, that's a Zinusa.
And then you take with precaution.
Jacob, precaution. We do not guarantee your tomorrow.
Anyway, so I guess we'll get. No. You need to introduce yourself. Your names as they appear on the ID.
On the ID? Wow,
Yes.
la.
And what you do.
And what I do? What I do?
See, yeah.
Who you are.
Okay, so Kinyanjui is my name. I go by Kinyanjui. What else? Njoroge Kinyanjui is a full name. No English name whatsoever. I'm still yet to choose one. That's what my parents say. And I'm a data scientist in a local telco in Nairobi. And mostly work on microcredits related activities. Yeah.
In English.
I in English.
And can you actually choose an English name? I feel like I have a suggestion.
Okay.
So Peter. That's
Male.
Onesimus.
I actually picked one when I was in class 3. Then I dropped it. It's okay, I won't say.
So, Nyash, the reason why we're here is because based on the last Sermon series, we have an idea that you are really touched and moved by it, and you have a story that you'd like to share. Yeah, so maybe you can just tell us what that is all about.
You don't want to create context for me with regards to someone series.
No,
What?
you'll tell us.
Is it okay? So for context, it's how do you explain it? Where do I start? So it's, I think all through my primary school life. So let me start a few years back. All through my primary school life, I sort of like was really searching for identity in terms of like how do you get accepted by the peers that you have. I think it cut me deep when in class 5, I wasn't invited for a birthday party for some individual, and as a result of that, you know, it's like those are the coolest guys, and so as a result of that, like, I had to create a persona, a certain demeanor in a certain sense. That was to get appreciated, and this demeanor, because I didn't come from a background of like filthy rich or whatnot relative to the school that I was going to, but granted that I was fully blessed and given different sufficiencies that I needed at that point in time. What I ended up doing was, you know, just being a hardhead, like being just a hardhead, like, yeah, you just being rude, naughty, all those things, and so that you can be accepted. I got accepted eventually, and even but it sort of like caught on. But the beauty about it, not the beauty, the problem with it is that now when I crossed over to high school from 1, I now was in 8 years. I was 8 years, class 1 to class 8 in a boys' school, and now you rock up into a mixed school. Man, say, hey. Things are thick. So it's like you have to like create this persona of who you are, because this is the identity of who you could carry. And I remember the first thing I rocked up there, I was like, call me Nyash. You know, it's like everything. But
Call me June.
Don't call me June. You grow into it. That's what my mother calls me.
In school, you're not in school.
Hey, in school, was it? So
Call me Nyash.
So as a result of that, like it was like week one. I remember I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to sleep in class. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Form 1 is not for reading. Form 1 is not for reading. Form 2 is for passing time. You can read book of Form 4. That was the MO. So what I did then was I was just like, I remember it was Form 1 first term, get into this school. I'm not listening to teachers. That's first week. This is the first week. And so I already, by end of that first week after joining Form 1, already branded. So the second week, so the school already has a perception of who you are, and they ask which school did you come from, and they realize that come from St. Mary's, and they're like, St. Mary's is where these old kids come from. Let us shida. So they created this aspect of like, okay, this kid has different problems. And second to that, within the second week, I felt sick like on a Tuesday, and I didn't come to school. On a Wednesday, I missed school on Wednesday, and on Thursday when I rock up into school, I hear there's a search, and there's a search for what? I'm like, okay, and yeah, these are all the stories of searches that you hear in high school, and they're checking the lockers, whatnot, and they check my locker and they find an exercise book. So it was 2 exercise books from my desk mate. He's actually a desk behind me, and his locker was right beside me. Apparently now, I'm the one who's stolen them. So it becomes a whole case. I'm called into the administration. I'm called to call my parents. I'm like, wait, you guys can't see the probability of we sit next to each other. We sit right next to each other, and our lockers share next to each other. And the school didn't see that aspect. As far as they're concerned, this is a guy who's sleeping in class. He's rude to teachers, and he needs to catch up, and that's why he stole that exercise book, and I was given 3 days suspension. So that cut me deep, and I remember crying to my mother and wondering why things are unfair, and I was like, okay, it's okay. Now I have credentials. I have been suspended. You know,
in Form 1,
second week. I have stripes.
Gangster points.
Gangster points. Everything. But so I end up going to school. And in school, a teacher pulls me aside and says like, hey, things are not looking good, because the head teacher, not even the principal, is on your case, and this is a bit problematic. Yeah, I'm like, you guys, it's part of the identity. Midterm comes in. I remember it was 2 weeks from that suspension. I'm second last. Like, I'm like, well, what are we reading for midterm here? What are we reading for? Like, midterm for who? And so this carries on and it cascades into the next bit, which is like, I was basically posing, but I remember a certain teacher pulled me aside, Mrs. Ngaruya and Madam Shege, B. Shege. They told me every week you have to meet me, and then now you can't be failing like this because the administration is going to deal with you. And so they were really concerned. I was like, okay, fair enough. So I kind of enjoyed maths. So I was like, give me math papers, I'll do it. I started doing them and really enjoying. And every week I'd go check in with Bishege. But that was her. That was them. But the school administration, as far as they're concerned, had branded me as this is Kichwa Malenge completely, and we need to deal with him. In the middle of assembly, multiple times, like the head teacher will the headmaster, and he was like a father who's like 80 years old. So like this, imagine this white Italian fathers who just come to you, and he comes and he singles you out, and then he comes and he like lifts up your sleeve to check if you've done any injections, or like tells you to blow your finger, to blow into his nose, to check if you're drinking. And this happened like occasionally, but me, I used to laugh. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what's wrong with this guy? Only until like things cascaded, and like I remember towards the tail end, my parents were called again, and they're told like, your child, then he needs to go for a drug test. And I'm like, what? So my pops is like, I know this boy. Like, this boy is not a problematic boy. I'm standing behind him, making sure that he pees into a bottle, like into one of the small containers, so that he does a drug test because the school is actually suspecting. I came out clean, and it was just again them imposing a certain perspective towards yours truly. And the thing is, thereafter, is I came now to the tail end. We did our end-term exams. And I get called to the Bishege's office. She was also like a deputy principal, and she sees me. I go upstairs and I see the group of people who are there. I'm like, wait a minute, these guys don't look proper. All these guys are the from twos that you know who are problematic. so and then now somebody goes like, Ata wewe, you know.
This is the end of term 1 from 1.
This is the end of term 1 from 1, and as a result of that, like, Ata wewe, and I'm like, what is going on? So I walk up into the office, I see her face, and she's like distraught, and she gives me a letter, and I open the letter. I'm like, wait, I've been expelled, and they've written there expelled for grades. And I'm like, wait, I'm not stupid, because I go downstairs that same day. I pick up the math, my physics paper, whatnot. I'm being told, wait, you topped units. So I topped units. I'm being expelled for grades. So what are they using the basis for expulsion? The midterm exams that I was second last. And I go to my mother, I show her, and they're like, okay, there's a problem here. This guy's clearly doing to you. And eventually wait for the grades to come in. I think I topped like 3 or 4 units within the class. I think for physics, either within the stream, I can't remember. Many of these things don't matter now.
So
but
it's more or less like a witch hunt. You felt it was like a witch hunt.
More or less, but a part of me felt like, okay, this is clearly unfair, but I had felt the unfairness the time when I got suspended for 3 days. But then I presented this to my folks, and my folks go to the administration. Actually, the administration were like, we just want to deal with your boy, we don't want him in our school. But they had created that picture of like, we need to get rid of him. And it was actually only until this year that I knew that they did want me. All this time, I knew that they had said that for me to come back, I need to go for counseling, and my parents had said no. Eventually, I transitioned to an amazing school that basically was more accommodating and more towards my shortcomings, and allowed me to explore my growth in different areas. But what that left me with is like, they had branded me stupid. And even like a part of ikizungu that watu sema ati mimi niko nayo and I feel sikupita my grammar my grammar is horrible, as in but as in ikizungu and that accent and whatnot came as a result of trying to show that I look smart. But where did this stem from? It was being branded as foolish from that period, and for the longest time, it wasn't until recently, like I think until the beginning of this year, when I've been dealing with other things, and that also came to the forefront. It's realizing that I had carried a heavy heart of wanting to prove a point to the school that guess who I am, and guess what I've done, and and this is who I am, and this is what I've done, and even like you guys were wrong. You know, it's like and this is like 10 years ago. I got expelled in 2006, so it has cascaded for at least 12 to 13 years, and but with different levels of moderation. And in this particular case, I'm seeing different patterns of how it's like I'm trying to enter a room, I'm trying to prove that I am smart, I'm trying to prove a point to other people, but this is where it came from. And what it has made me realize is that you it's a function of, one, the institutions that are built by fallen individuals like yours truly, who will make mistakes that are grave, right? And some mistakes are painful, and that's why even like in the event that you actually break up in a relationship, like the best thing you can do, you know, it's very easy to tell the story from your perspective, which is the hero, like you know, yeah, nini, whatnot. And it's very easy for me also to tell the story that, look, those guys did an atrocity, like they hurt me, they did clear unfairness, but not realizing my input, which is like enyewe kwa kichwa malenge, you know, like as a result of that, but them over-indexing other things and building a whole case which was not true, would end up making me a vindictive individual. And so like even in the case of a relationship, like I think that what I'm learning now is the best thing I could do is pray for them to have amazing, like the school, like even the individuals, like not to hurt an individual, like again, but for them to have a flourishing school that will actually be prosperous. The individual who come from there will actually enter into all spheres of society that would that the school will feel happy about. And that's important, because it's very easy for me to try to show that I'm better than them and want to one up them for argument's sake, but that's wasting my life, frankly speaking. And the same way you can end up in a relationship and that's the same circumstance. It's the areas that you got rejected on are the things that now you want to prove that you made a wrong decision, but not realizing what you did and telling the story as you are the hero and you're the victim or whatnot makes it now very hard for you to one, heal, forgive, and more so to leave those shackles that could grab you for years. As you can clearly see, mine has stuck for at least 16 years, where now I'm getting to a point where I'm realizing it.
Such an interesting story. Let me ask you, and I mean the teachers, sometimes I feel like sometimes schools just try to not do the work, because doing the work would have been sitting you down and trying to figure out how did you get here. And sometimes teachers are just like, the easiest, can we just get the easy kids first, like our wengine, can we try and get them out fast? But let me ask you a question that is, I don't even know whether it should be part of this video, but do you see, like when you're in class 5 and you didn't get invited into a party and you had to create this demeanor, do you feel like the creating of that demeanor made, as in progressed up until high school, and make these teachers and this school think of you that way, even if you knew this is not who I am? or do you feel like that? I mean, if you, and I know there are many kids out there who have created a demeanor of who they think they are or who they think they should be, so they are accepted in in a cool kids club or whatever. But do you feel like that really stuck on you, and it kind of just spoiled it up to when you got to high school?
So yes, but also we don't know, because there's also beauty in realizing that, and I like that demeanor has helped me in certain aspects where my entrepreneurial aspects thrive in a rebellious sort of spirit. But you see, that's in the confines of something good. So like, be it entrepreneurial within the organization I work with, or even externally in looking at the variety of problems that are there within the ecosystem that can be solved, and things that surprisingly I'm more gripped in matters to do with education now. But that's besides the point. And so like that demeanor it stuck on, and it stuck on for many years. It stuck on, and even now I still have aspects of it that I feel like I need to shake off. I feel like when I enter a place or like I'm interacting with people, I feel like I want to get you to like me as an individual. And when I sense it, the counteracting effect that I have is that I act like I don't care now, which is so that I counter it. But that lack of having a stable identity as who I am resulted into me picking up a bad boy demeanor that was very bootleg though. It was very okay, but I did stupid things. That one I did. That second high school I went to, they were very gracious. They were very gracious.
They should have expelled you as well.
They should have expelled me now. They had all the reasons.
Every right.
They have all the reasons. We did all the man of things, but they were like, no, we understand you, because they actually looked at me as an individual. And like a school, the other previous school is suspecting you of drinking, all those things. This one, now you everything. Everything. You're like drinking, running away from school. You've chat the whole class to join you, and you're joining with them. And here you caught. The headmaster is like, I'm gonna deal with you guys, and he forgives you. And that's the first time I was shown grace. And so it's like, it's very counterintuitive because that was a Muslim school, and now this other school that was a Catholic school that doesn't understand that didn't have the full appreciation of the development of the kid from my own minute perspective. Yes. So yes, to answer your question, it affected me until today. But I think I've integrated it into my life by being more aware of it and talking about it. And noticing when that rebellious spirit is just roaming around and which wants to impress that individual that is there. Yeah, so that's why like one area is like how I talk. So I picked up a random loose accent and I didn't even study abroad or anything of that sort. But then it was as a function of, or even using big English words that even I don't understand. But then it was as a function of wanting to impress. And you see, it's that desire of wanting to impress other people that ends up catching up, and then now, yeah.
So now that you are all grown,
is it?
I'm not sure that you're all grown, but now that you're a big boy, you're no longer a Jew. Okay, now that you're all grown, what are you basing your identity on, and what are some of the things that you think, knowing now that you know them, do you think it's something that a younger person should know? Ama, do you feel like the crisis for identity is just a crisis until you get to some age, or is that something that young people can do to base their identity on something that is actually not just being accepted?
Okay, so you know the generic answer here is God, but it's but I'll walk you through why that is the case. And it's not like, one, it doesn't happen instantly, so I will not say like I'm at the tail end of my journey. I think I'm still very young and early and developing it over time. And with that spirit, one that I've really enjoyed, especially this year, has been understanding forgiveness. Like and it's understanding. Okay, so if we look at how Christ basically like the Sermon on the Mount, he expounds, I think in chapter 7 or chapter 6, where he talks about it's very easy to love the things that are easy for you to love, the things that I have an affinity towards. Like it's easy, but you tell me to love someone that has hurt me dearly, that's extremely hard, and the easiest thing to do that we do is cut off. But we fail to build a full holistic development as an individual, because now which is now what comes in now to feed into the identity aspect. And the problem with that is that when we fail to build like the ability to love that individual, even like, think of it, somebody who's hurt you dearly, extremely dearly, and hurt you in the worst way ever, and you're told to serve them. And the Bible has so many representations of this. People look at Daniel Maze, he had no reason. Like, even me, I would be like, why are you doing that? but his heart was really embracing the fact that he's going to serve this leader, and he did it with all his heart, best way possible. The same thing with Joseph. It's characters of these individuals that did that, and what I think that does is that it allows you to love even the aspects of yourself that you don't. So it's and the parts of you, the things that you do that you know that are not good, that you end up despising, and you end up failing to develop that area. So I think like for many men, you know, it's a function of like especially if you hurt someone you dearly love. Let's say in the example of you know, very strong, long committed relationship, and you hurt them dearly. Maybe something that you did, you can pick anything. It wasn't because you hate them, you know, like it wasn't. It was because, and then now what happens is that you hate yourself for doing that. But then now what you end up doing is that you end up stunting the development of yourself in that aspect, you know, in that aspect where in this like I'm hating the fact that I hurt this lady who's amazing to me, and I'm unable to appreciate that I'm even growing as an individual, and realizing that God's love is the same love that he loved on us, even like a prodigal son, like when we're horrible, is what we need to realize, so that we can be able to love ourselves and work on ourselves. Because it's not about loving the good side of ourselves, it's loving the full aspect of ourselves, the good and the bad, and essentially that's how I think that I've come to really appreciate to this very day about identity, and that I'm going about in developing it.
It's amazing.
Oh, I really like that. And I like the fact that you brought up the Bible and say the Bible speaks a lot into the issues you've gone through. And I know in this last month we're looking at the sermon series Finding Forward. Was there someone in the course of that month that spoke to you with regards to, you know, your current situation, your current reflections the past 16 years, and what did it say to you?
Someone who spoke, what do you mean? Like
A sermon that...
Oh, a sermon.
Sermon. Mimi nasema sermon. Ama preaching.
Oh, is that
preaching/teaching? To make it easier.
/teaching. Or what did I use? I think for me it's been people, not a someone. Yeah, it's been people, but the things that I've been reading, I've come to appreciate expository teachers. So you have a full chapter that you read and you indulge in. So there are a couple of people that I've been listening to that have facilitated that for me to learn, and then I think the support system around me, my housemates, some very close friends of mine, my parents also, and people who randomly came, especially this year, to help me forgive. I think that's the thing. Because and the element of it was, first I needed to experience the pain, because I had bottled it and I refused. I'd not even experienced the pain of being rejected by that school until this year. All this time I used to carry a brand of, you know, I've been expelled in a school, and you know, but yeah, and that's sort of aesthetic. But I'd not really cried about it, which I did, and feel the heart of what happened. Of what happened, and the unfairness, and seeing that hurt me, and appreciating that. And I needed somebody to hold me during that period. I remember it was like a 3-hour day where I was talking to this individual on phone. Randomly, he sensed that apparently I needed to talk to someone, and it was true. And spent 3 hours with this amazing gentleman. God bless him, God bless his family, and I think that's what you need to do. And so it's not just the sermon and the learning, but it's the experience of the pain and the forgiveness. And the forgiveness element is the best thing you can do is you wish the best thing for them, and if you can write it down, the better. So like in this example, the school, like imagining them being a prosperous school is beneficial. It frees me, not me trying to prove them a point. Or imagine your ex, who you've had a thing with for many years. Imagine you for many years, you dream. You had dreams that you share, and you start visualizing that with even someone else, and she's happy, and it's such a glorious and fabulous future for them. And they are traveling, they have fabulous kids, they are not lacking anything, and they're experiencing life together joyfully. It's a happy home, and you're wishing that for somebody else. It liberates you as an individual. But it's the same thing that God's love calls us to do. It's easy to love the things that are easy to love, but it's hard for us to love onto somebody and wish them the best genuinely when we know that we could have been the one who's there instead.
So guys, that was an amazing time with Kinyanjui. I like that he shared his story, and it was a heartfelt story, especially considering that it's been like, you said how many years?
Oh, it was
16,
206 is?
It was about 14 years and counting.
Oh, 14 years.
And
Hey, my math is
something
right.
that happened 14 years ago could have such a big impact in your life. You know, all the decisions you've made, you know, the things you've thought about, the places you wanted to be. But I do want to thank God above all, because God has guided you, Kinyanjui, through and through. Because as much as you say you did those things, you're an amazing person. If you guys ever get to know Kinyanjui well, by the way, he's one of the smartest people you meet.
So smart,
you
yeah.
nywele si hivyo by the way. You see
Yeah, kweli.
hiyo ni akili. So again, you know,
Nywele ya COVID, eh?
nywele ya COVID, exactly. But he's such an amazing person, and what I like is, regardless of that, God still, you know, used that to make him who he is today. But my prayer and my blessing for you, Kinyanjui, is based on Psalm 16 verse 2. And this is what Psalm 16 verse 2 says. It's David who's saying, I'll just pick a few words. It says, apart from you, O God, I have no good thing. And David was a great man. You know, David did great exploits. He was one of the best warriors in the Bible. You know, this guy fought, and he was one of the first king of Israel. Israel, the first king of Israel. And he did so many things. But I like that scripture because it's like saying, apart from all these things I have achieved, I have no good thing apart from God. And my blessing to you is, as you're continuing on to, you know, reflect in your past, you know, realize that this is what you thought, this is what you wanted, that you realize that apart from God, you have no good thing. Because he has been there with you consistently all through. I can imagine that day you are being called to, you know, Bishege, you call her Bishege, office that day, if I still remember her name. He was still there with you, and he knew Kinyanjui is my son, whom I love, and I'm well pleased in. And I'm going to walk with him. I'm going to make him an amazing person, because you are an amazing person. And my prayer for you is that, you know, apart from God, you'll have no other good thing. And that doesn't mean the things that we have are going to be bad. The jobs, the schooling, the education we have, the experiences we have are not good things. But I'm saying, as compared, these things compared to God, you're going to take God first and going to take God at the helm of everything we do. So Kinyanjui, my prayer for you is that you'll always hold God close by, and that He'll continue to refresh, replenish you, and open other things you need to learn about Him as you move ahead in life. And my prayer is that, you know, one day, 10 years down the line now, we look back and say, you know, counting years, saying 10 years, you know, God did this for me, and I can truly attest and say that He is a good God. So my prayer for you is, you know, that you won't have any other good thing apart from God, and that's my blessing to you. And anyone at home, you know, again, maybe you share the same sentiments with Kinyanjui. You know, maybe for it's not even school, it's at home, and words have been spoken to you. Maybe it's even somebody who did something to you. Because sometimes, truth be told, we are humans and we have memory, and you know, our memory stores things. It's like you have a SD card, you know, to remember all things that happened to you. But I do pray that whatever happened and wherever you are at now, you look back and say that God is a God who brought you here, and that apart from Him, you have no other good thing. Not that these other things are bad again, but He's like the forefront, He's like the helm of everything you ever do. So be blessed, and yeah, may you keep God at the forefront of everything you do.
So guys, we've come to the end of the video, but just before we finish, you've seen our reactions, you've seen people's stories throughout the day. We have a few more videos that we'd like you guys to watch, just seeing how people have reacted to the last sermon series. And also we want to shout out Lujang, who has been leading us continuously through the worship sessions. Yeah, so enjoy the videos and also enjoy the worship session. Thank you.
Collective, I'm Eve, and I'm really happy to be part of such an amazing church. I'm grateful to my best friend Sheila, who introduced me to collective worship. And in the past few months, I've been able to experience and feel God's love and presence through collective worship. And in the last series that we had, it was so powerful, so impactful. And one of the things that really stood out for me is that we often make decisions for God. And I would like to encourage you that God is not like man to change his mind, because sometimes we often decide which problems we're going to take to God and which problems we're going to keep to ourselves. So stay safe, know that God loves you, and I can't wait to meet you guys someday soon.
So praise God, guys. My name is Elise. I was introduced to collective worship by my friend Diana Washeke. Diana, hi. Long time no see. Yeah, so I used to come when it was Uko Chini College of Insurance. So tulishukia Bellevue and we took a long walk. Kiasi si refu sana. Yeah, so I know College of Insurance iko ni South B or C. I think it's C. It's one of the Souths. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's been long. I moved out of the country, but I still follow up. Yeah, the sermons for this quarter or the few weeks that has been there have been so nice, like so good. Yeah, they are all so nice. Even choosing one, it's crazy. It's like they're building up to something, of which it was so nice. So the one that has really resonated in my mind, resonated sana ni the Seasons of Silence. Like Pastor Frank literally spoke about it, and the grace he spoke with it was nice. And really, thanks for opening up my mind and seeing things in a different way. I thank God for using you. How am I applying this in life? So I took the verses or the illustrations the pastor gave us literally, like metaphorically speaking. So like the walls of Jericho, the walls that Nehemiah was supposed to build. Like I'm taking them literal as my walls. Yeah, so walls can be anything. Walls can be my issues I'm struggling with, my friendships, my relationships, my career, anything. And so right now I'm taking a walk of trusting God to break down the walls that I don't need and to help me build the walls that are needed. Yeah, so the walls for protection, like literal meaning, like reading the word, spiritual growth in line with the spirit. And so that's the journey I'm taking using that word. So it's a journey, a slow, step by step. And so every time I'm being intentional and trusting God that he will be he will guide me to the right place. Yeah, so thank you for everything you guys do, Collective Worship Church as a whole, like the band, praise and worship, Mokosawa. Like I like what you guys do, and keep on doing what you're doing. And I wish to see you one day, or unaweza come to visit pia. Yeah, so thank you, and I hope you guys stay safe now, staying out of trouble and keeping the fire burning, and make sure you fill up your lamps. You never know when the prince is coming. So thank you guys. Till next time.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brevin. I am a fourth year Bachelor of Real Estate student in the University of Nairobi, and I am a member of Collective Church. So I want to speak a little bit about my takeout from the Finding Forward sermon series by Collective, which we've been doing through the month of September. So Finding Forward, it has been a really interesting series for me. Interesting because, you know what, Pastor Frank was preaching the sermons, yeah, and we all know he's quite a comedian. Na CPR, by the way, so mzizema tiapo Brevin alionwa kando no. So, but on a serious note, yeah, the Finding Forward sermon series has really enlightened me and to a great extent influenced my perspective on how God works. From Seasons of Silence, which was the first episode, to the highs and lows, then to making moves, and lastly, leveling up. But my main takeout, however, from this series was from the first episode, which is now the episode on Seasons of Silence. Yeah, I'm that kind of a person who loves action. Yeah, and whenever there's nothing happening in my life, you know, moments when I feel like, you know what, I'm not making any significant progress, I feel like, you know what, God has forsaken me. And that is how I've been feeling during this corona period. However, from the sermon, I learned that God works even in the situation when He seems silent, and He only calls for us to have faith, number one, and number two, to trust Him. For He might seem silent, but He's definitely not absent. And this is how I intend to apply this series in my life, to never limit God to the realities of my life, but to always view Him as a limitless God, whose powers and abilities I can never fully comprehend with my human mind. Because frankly, you get that? You don't? So, but if I can fathom His powers and abilities, then that means I've limited Him to something man-made. Yeah? Lastly, something else that has stuck with me came from one of the weekly devotions. After reading it, I decided, you know what, I can add this to the list of my mantras. And these are the words of Jonathan McReynolds, quoted in the devotion Highs and Lows, I think part 2 of it. I decided to personalize it a little bit to fit my personal touch and something easy for me to meditate on. May my struggles keep me near the cross. May my troubles show that I need God. May my battles end the way they should. May my bad days and my good days prove that God is good. And lastly, may my whole life prove that God is good and is working in my life, even if it doesn't seem so. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Peace out.
When it feels like the dark lingers longer than the night, when the shadows feel like giants, are you chasing me down? Tell me, where could I run from your light? Where could I hide? And within your precious thoughts, there's no hiding from your love. Highs and lows, Lord, you're with me either way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? And even so, Lord, your mercies and even flow. You're too good to let me go. Should I dance on the heights or make my bed among the depths? Mercy waits at every end, like you planned it from the start. Should the down come with wings or find me far side of the sea, Lay your hands still first as me, ever closer to your heart. Oh, oh, oh. Highs and lows, Lord, you're with me the way it goes. Should I rise or should I fall? And even so, Lord, your mercies are even flow. Should I rise or should I fall? You were faithful through it all. You're too good to let me go. Too good to let me go. You're too good to let me go. You were faithful through it all. You make all things new, yeah. You make all things new, and I will follow you forever. You make all things new. Not going back, moving ahead. Key to be clear to you. My past is over in you. All things are made new. Surrendered my life to Christ. I'm moving, not going back. Moving ahead. I'm here to declare to you. My past is over in you. All things are made new. Surrendered my life to Christ. Moving, moving forward. You make all things new. And I will follow forward. You make all things new, yes. You make all things new, and I will follow you forward.
Thank you, Lujan, for leading us in that amazing worship. I would like us to pray and end this service. So let us believe and pray. Our Father and our God, we come before you. We thank you, dear Lord, for this day. We thank you for all that we've been able to do, for all the stories that we've been able to listen to. We thank you for your word that has gone through. We pray the Lord Jesus Christ that even as people have listened, King of all glory, that Lord, you will speak to them each individually, oh God, and each separately, King of all glory, in the spaces that they are in. I pray for each and every person who shared their story. I pray the Lord Jesus Christ that you would cover them, that you would protect them, oh God. I come against every plan of the enemy over their lives and over everything that concerns them, King of all glory. I pray the Lord Jesus Christ that even as we enter this new week, that Lord, you would bless it, that Lord, you would go before us, that you would help us to achieve all that we need to achieve for the glory and honor of your name. It's in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. So we've come to the end of the video. As you can see, hata giza imeingia, tunatumia artificial light. We're using natural light. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your feedback. Yani, we're really overwhelmed. It seems like you guys are really enjoying the content and we're really glad. So stay tuned. There's more amazing content coming up. Please subscribe to the channel, obviously. If you want to keep up with the content, please share if this video has touched you. If you want to see more of these videos, like, what else do we do on YouTube? Comment. tumesha share, tutashare. And definitely we're going to leave our numbers on the screen so that you guys can continue interacting with us. Thank you so much for the feedback, for the responses. We love you guys so much as Collective family, and we'll see you next week. Stay tuned and stay blessed.